Hi, it's Pete here from See Your Toes Again, and this is podcast number 32. This is part 2 of my conversation with Christine Trimpe. If you haven't listened to the first session on podcast number 31, I strongly suggest you do, because otherwise none of this will make sense. If you have, I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Oh, for certain, when I look back, I had undiagnosed mood disorder for sure. I was a very moody person. My kids actually called me Krabby Patty all the time, and I regret those days so much. Anything would send me flying off the handle. I used to blame it on my Irish heritage that I had a temper, right? But now I know better. It was me having a mood disorder because I was not eating well. I was not fueling my body well. And I love that you had a guest on about advocating for mental health, the diet for mental health, because I saw an incredible change in my behavior. And I can remember my husband one time, a couple weeks after I fully went, all in on keto, looking at me and saying, where's my wife? What happened to my wife? You're bouncing off the walls. I had so much energy. I was so I had so much joy. I never understood true joy until I went through this lifestyle change. Because joy used to be based on my circumstances. If you made me angry, I might fly off on the handle with you, or I might hold a grudge against you for years. But now I have this joy, which I carry with me every day, and it's despite my circumstances. I've gone through really a lot of suffering in the past 7 years. When I started out on my health journey in January 2017, when I adopted keto in January 2017, 6 months later, my son was in a catastrophic car accident, and ever since then, I've had to be his caregiver. You would not know that he is ill, but he suffered a traumatic brain injury. And so our life flipped upside down. And if I had been stuck in my mental health situation when this happened, it would have buried me. I know I would be hiding in bed with the covers over my head, unable to face up to this reality, and the resiliency would not have been there to help care for him. And so it all happened in I say God's perfect timing. He had me healing 6 months before this car accident for a purpose. So yes, my mental health has drastically changed for the better.
And that's really important because there is so much evidence to show that and effectively sugars, which of course starches, as we've just said earlier, starches get converted into sugars, so they're all the same thing. It's just that they start off differently.
Yes.
Affect your mind as much as they affect your body, and that's people are now showing scientifically that it's all to do with brain energy as body energy, and if your mind hasn't got the energy it needs, it shows up in various forms of mental illness.
Yes. Yeah. And I regret all those years so much how moody I was, but I also lived in brain fog. Looking back, I can look back and think I felt like I was moving through thick fog every day, just trying to get through the day and just longing to get back to the point where I could crawl into my bed and find some relief, try to find some rest. I wasn't resting well because of the sleep apnea, but things have dramatically changed. And I'm so happy to see all the science emerging and the books that are coming out about the mental health and how we can help it with proper nutrition. It's very encouraging.
Well, forever, of course, if you had mental health issues, and I'm going to throw depression, bipolar, and schizophrenia into that mix. So, they're all very serious illnesses. And for decades, for all of our lives, we were told that if you had one of those, basically you could see a shrink. They're called therapists, that's right. You could see a therapist, you can go on drugs. Worst case scenario, you get put away, of course, where you don't so that you don't hurt yourself And now we find out that and I've got another lady coming in on Friday to talk about, she put schizophrenia into remission.
Oof.
And I know. And this is the thing. And this is through diet. It's through the foods we eat, or more explicitly, the foods we don't eat, because getting rid of those damn sugars
Yes.
is the crux of all of this. And it's funny, I'll only say this briefly, but it has been proven that I've got a book around here somewhere. There it is. Nature Wants Us to Be Fat by Richard J. Johnson, MD. And he shows via about 200 poor little lab mice, that fructose is the big killer. And fructose is in berries and stuff. And so our bodies are designed so that in late summer, midsummer, late summer, we would find all the berries and fruit. We would eat them like mad. This is back when we were cavemen. Mm-hmm. And we would put on a bit of weight, a bit of podge, so that we can survive winter in the cave when there's no food. You know, it could be that you're under snow for a lot of that period. And so our bodies were designed to eat eat all those berries and fruits to get fat. And so the fructose, we have been genetically engineered by evolution to eat the fruit, get fat via the fructose. And the fructose also slowed us down. It changed our whole energy. And he talks about it. It changed the little things called mitochondria in our bodies, so that instead of them producing energy, they produce fat. We get fat, but it also slows us down. Now, of course, these days, you're eating that same fructose sugar every day. So you're forever getting fat and you're forever slowing down. So effectively, your whole body and your mind is permanently slowing down for winter. And never, so therefore your brain just doesn't have the energy that it needs to survive. And that's why I think some people end up, I guess, like we said about the fatness, about one kid is skinny and another kid ends up fat from eating the same food. It's the same, I guess. One person gets away with feeling mildly depressed, and another person ends up with bipolar disorder or schizophrenic disorder.
Yes.
Yeah.
So interesting. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All because of this lovely little sugar that we have just absolutely gone berserk with, of course, over the last 50 years.
Oh, yeah. And it's when I started reading ingredient labels, high fructose corn syrup. It's in everything.
Yeah, it is.
Everything, yes.
Yeah. And then they decided, well, we better not have too much of that. So they just change it. But you'll find table sugar is 50% fructose.
Yes.
And there's just sugar in everything. You know, fruit juice. Oh, I'm going to have my fruit juice this morning. It's so healthy for me. It's going to give me all of my vitamin C. And so you chug down that big 200 ml glass of fruit juice that's got tons. They reckon there's more sugar in fruit juice than there is in a can of Coke.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I believe it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thinking back to how sweet it was when I would drink it. Yeah. I believe it for sure.
How did you find, or how do you find, with regard to all of the artificial sweeteners?
Artificial sweeteners like saccharin, things like that, I don't ingest those at all. Okay. Occasionally, like there are sugar substitutes that I know people use to make like a keto dessert. And again, it's a balance between, are you a full-blown sugar addict? And do you need to completely eliminate this taste from your mouth, from your tongue? So it just depends on the person. I personally can handle an occasional keto dessert and it doesn't send me crazy, like wanting to eat all the things. But you have to be really careful with that, because some of us have been in that cycle of food, sugar, carb addiction. And, it's just like any other addictive behavior. You need to change your behavior to prevent relapse. Of course,
yeah.
With when it comes to food, we're we relapse, and I used to like really beat myself up about it, but it's a learning opportunity. Like, okay, what did I just do? What just happened? Why was that? And typically when I've faltered, it's because I found myself eating cheese and nuts when I wasn't hungry. So again, like that boredom, hunger
Yeah.
comes
Okay.
back every
Yeah.
once in a while. It's really, especially when like I'm dealing with an emotional day. So like I beat myself up about that. Like, okay, like what am I going to do differently? All right, I know nuts. There's no benefit to me eating nuts. There's not going to be any more nuts in this house, and have a conversation with my husband. Please stop buying nuts, okay?
Yeah.
And so he will. So these little relapses are also learning opportunities. So I've learned not to beat myself up. But if I can show up 99% of the time, putting the proper things in my mouth, 99.9% would be ideal. It just keeps showing up every day. And I talk to the women that I help, like it's a daily surrender. It's a daily choice to show up and pursue your health so that we can show up and feel better and have more energy and like just live more effectively. I
Yeah.
know I was not effective when I was 100 pounds overweight.
No.
Mm-mm.
No, indeed. I had something dynamic to say earlier. So, roughly that's right. It was about your fasting, because going right back to when you were talking about your videos on fasting,
Mhm.
what fasting do you do? Do you do intermittent fasting? Do you ever do proper fasting, like a day in here or a few days or anything like that?
Yes, I do like the benefits of a little bit of an extended fast every once in a while. You mentioned mitochondria. I like to imagine my little mitochondria getting cleaned up and all the
Yeah.
junky stuff being swept out. So I do every once in a while we'll do an extended fast, like maybe a 2-day fast or a 3-day fast. But daily, I do what would be more, I would call it time restricted eating. And I just eat based on my hunger signals and like 11:30 and 5:30. So I'm getting about 18 hours of fasting daily.
Yeah, good. So that's what people would phrase as intermittent fasting anyhow.
Yes, yes. And then during my weight loss journey, when I was really, the weight was just dropping off of me, I was able to do quite a bit of extended fasting. I liked the 3 days a week doing 42-hour fast. That really helped me uh, obviously lose the weight. It helped me physically lose the weight, but it also helped me with behavior modification so much. I feel like it helped usher in the gift of self control and getting in touch with like my behavior with food. Why was this happening? It helped rewire my brain. It helped like the mindset shifts, all of that. So I'm a huge advocate of fasting. I know some people are really scared of fasting. It sounds bizarre. It sounded bizarre to me at first. But yeah, like I used to think I've grown up in the church, so I would hear about people doing fasting and I would think, how in the world can they do that? Like, why would they not want to eat for 24 hours or 48 hours? And now I
Yeah.
know why. Now I know why. So,
It was a laugh when I was at school. This is back at high school. I'm not going to show my age, but it was a long time ago. And we used to do the 40-hour famine, and it was as a sponsorship to raise money for famine,
mm-hmm.
and also though, so kids could do it. I never did it. I don't know why. I guess the thought of not eating for 40 hours was too much for me. But
Mm-hmm.
when I'd noticed though that the 40-hour famine, the kids could still eat as many barley sugars and lollies as they wanted. So I'm thinking, poor little African kid, they don't get barley sugars and
Right.
lollies, sweets for their 40 hours of famine. So, in fact, I would have thought that would make it worse. You're starting to feel hungry, so I'll have a sweet. That's not going to help anything to do with how you feel about being hungry. Anyway, so that was one thing, but certainly I have done a 48-hour fast. I've done lots of 24-hour fasts.
Mm-hmm.
48 hours was my max, and I must say that was a struggle. It was funny, by the end of it, I wasn't struggling because I was so hungry. It was almost like my mind kept saying, come on, Pete, you've got to eat. It was like voices inside my head saying, come on. But I quite often enjoy a 24-hour fast at least. But it is supposed to be very good for you. And again, you get so many naysayers telling us how it's going to catabolize all of our muscles. We're going to come out looking like starving Biafrans. But, of course, there's been so much literature to show that it's the chance for your body to do some serious spring cleaning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So your body...
Yeah, I didn't experience muscle mass loss because my functional medicine doctor still had a connection to the hospital program that had a DEXA scan. And so as soon as I connected with her, I went and got a DEXA scan. And then I got one again, like 9 months later. So it was like, yeah, it was great information. I love to have that data just to like say, yeah, I'm on the right path.
Yeah. So on your daily basis, what sort of foods would you eat? And I know that it can be a lot. I'm just trying to get for a person who is listening to this and thinking, maybe I should think about this ketogenic diet business. Right. What does your standard diet maybe look like?
So these are I love to keep things super simple in the kitchen as I find things that I like and we repeat them often. I love chuck roast. I put cauliflower florets in the chuck roast. I put carrots in there for my husband. He still eats carrots. I've always hated carrots, but
me too, especially when they're cooked.
So yeah, cooked carrots. Ugh. But full of sugar too. Yeah. Anyhow.
Yeah.
But so we have chuck roast weekly. We have taco salad weekly. I eat bacon and eggs. That's a typical lunch. Leftovers for lunch. A lot of leftovers. I always like batch cook. I do love things like in the wintertime here in Michigan, it gets cool. So I'll make a big pot of keto chili. Don't eat tomato-based products too often, but every once in a while, because, tomatoes are a little bit higher in carbs, but every once in a while I will include that. I love making a Big Mac salad. There's a recipe on Pinterest for that. I have Pinterest boards that have main dishes, side dishes, appetizers, all kinds of things. So let me think what else. Oh, steak. I eat a lot of steak.
Yep, cool.
Chicken every once in a while. And when I do have chicken, I have to make sure to have healthy fats added to that. I'm not a huge chicken fan, but basically I'm amazed how I have gone from eating the standard 3-ounce fist size of meat to, I eat way more meat than that now. So meat is my staple and it's a good, I also, because I'm always trying to make sure I get enough protein in, I do eat non-fat Greek yogurt occasionally. The plain, no, you can't get it with any added flavorings or anything. It has to be plain. Yeah. So, yeah, that's keep it super simple. I don't create recipes. I'm not going to ever put out a cookbook. Don't ever look for me putting out a cookbook. That's not how I roll.
My recipes go so far as to say, hey, this is how I cook my lamb chops in my air fryer. Right. I put them in here. I turn it onto this 180 for 15 minutes. There you go. Perfect. My air fryer is my new best friend.
Yes.
So what fats do you eat then?
Okay, so the chuck roast, when I cook that, I'll put a stick of butter on top of it. So butter, the fats from the red meats that I eat. I will cook with a little bit of olive oil or avocado oil, drizzle olive oil on my vegetables. But I would say that probably butter is the main go-to for me.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because, of course, the ketogenic diet is a high-fat content diet because where you used to be getting your energy from all those carbohydrates you were eating, bearing in mind that protein is really designed to build you, not to give you energy. So if you're going to cut your carbs out, you have to replace them with fats. And, of course, that scares people because we've had all of our generation told fats are bad.
Right. So I lost 100 pounds with my ratios in the carb manager were like 5% or less of my intake was carbohydrates, 20 to 25% was protein, and 70 to 75% was healthy fats. That was premenopause. Let me just say that for the ladies. That was premenopause. And now I'm in menopause. So I've tweaked it a little bit. I'm still in a state of ketosis, but now 5% carbohydrates are lower. 30 to 35% protein focused, and then about 60% healthy fats. So still running on the healthy fats, but I'm doing my very best as I'm aging, ladies. I'm 57 right now. As I'm aging, I really want to, focus on that protein.
Good. And that keeps you nice and strong as well.
Yes.
Let's face it. Here's a big question, do you do any form of exercise?
Oh, yes. I actually had to sign while I was walking, doing things like that. I would try to do some home workouts, but I am a big advocate for sometimes you have to invest. Like you have to invest your time and resources if it's something that you're not truly dedicated to doing, right? So I did invest in a local gym that has a boot camp for me to attend 3 mornings a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's a pretty intense workout, strength training, mostly strength training focused this is specifically for women ages 55 and up. So we do a lot of strength training, agility, flexibility, all of those things that we need to make sure that are available to us ladies. So we're not falling, we can squat on the potty, all those kind of things. But I really push myself there. But I love it. I love the community. And because I'm paying for it, because I've invested it, I am there every time the door opens. I don't miss a workout. Love the ladies that I work out with. There's some women there that are in their 70s, pushing 80, that are showing up every day for their health. So they're like, they don't want to fall. They don't have injuries, all of those things.
Yeah. And I think that's great, because a lot of people will be thinking, oh no, and I've had this chat on other podcasts. Oh no, I'll just do some exercises at home. And of course that lasts for a few weeks, and generally you'll end up, I'm too busy, I'll do it later.
Yes.
And then you don't do it at all. Whereas the gym, I love the gym. I'm going to be going there after this podcast. I'll shut down and jump in the car and drive off to my gym, which I go most nights, and I do strength training a lot of the time, trying to incorporate more cardio. But people going to the gym and, like you say, paying for a membership, and some memberships are more expensive than others. I don't feel that you need to have a spa bath there, or a plunge pool, or massages, or all the other things that you can spend loads of money on. But good equipment, you end up, like you say, you're in classes and so on. Most of them have classes. You get to meet lots of people. You end up with the same community of people every time you go to a class.
Yes.
And it becomes great. And you motivate each other, and you look forward to getting down to the gym. And if you haven't been to the gym for ages and you go down, people aren't going to laugh at you. They're not going to poke and snigger and sneer behind your back. They're going to say, welcome.
Yes. Yeah, that's the kind of community I join, so I love it. And also on the days that I don't go to the gym, because I have they're scheduled Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings. I went to the gym before we hopped on this Zoom. But on the days that I don't, I actually have a puppy who needs a lot of exercise. I have a husky. I have a Siberian husky. He needs a lot of walks. So that's what I'm doing on the days that I don't go to the gym, is making sure that he gets his exercise and making sure that I get my steps in. So
how far would you take him when you take him for a walk?
It depends on the weather. If it's a really hot day, we can only go like a half a mile, but on cooler days we can go. I usually take him about 2 miles around the neighborhood. So
I've got a little Jack Russell Terrier, and and she's much the same. I generally try to take her for a couple of miles if I can at my lunchtime, and if I'm running short of time for work or whatever, then I'll just take it to the local park, and it's a big park. We walk around the
Yeah.
park. I've got a ball to throw around. She chases squirrels,
Yes.
chases other dogs. So yeah, it's all fun.
Yes, and then when things are really exciting and my husky has a possum in his mouth, I get to run around the backyard and try to save the possum. Exercise too.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
I guess if he kills the possum, you end up having possum soup.
Oh yeah, yeah. Fortunately he's never killed one yet. They all play dead pretty well, so it's worked out. It's worked out for them. So.
We used to have in New Zealand, I grew up in New Zealand, and we used to, again, this is a long time ago, and we're kind of country bound. And so we used to, my brothers and so on would shoot rabbits, which were a vermin, introduced vermin. And so they'd shoot rabbits. I ended up having to skin them and gut them.
Yeah.
I always got the good jobs. And same with possums. They'd shoot Australian possums in New Zealand. Australian possums in New Zealand have almost eradicated a lot of the native forests in New Zealand because they've got no native predators. They just went berserk and they loved the native trees. So we used to go out with a spotlight because they're nocturnal, and we'd shoot them at night time. Mm-hmm. Skin them, gut them, chuck them in the freezer with the rabbits. Now, the possums were dog food, the rabbits were human food. I remember one time, though, when my mother got it wrong and we cooked up a possum instead, and it was extremely tough. There is nothing enjoy. This is an Australian brushtail possum, but there was nothing nice about this possum. Although I must say I was never fussed on the rabbits either. I've always found them dry. Mum used to overcook them. They're dry. They've got such a low fat content that they are just like for 5 minutes trying to eat through a bit of flesh.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, those were the days.
I've never had rabbit, and I most definitely have never had possum. So.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
That's something for you to think about.
Yeah.
So you've finally got yourself 100 pounds off.
Yes.
Do you feel that's your end game, or is there more to go? Or, I mean, let's face it, as people say, and I always say, the keto diet is not a diet, it's a lifestyle.
Right. Well, menopause has caused a little bit of a blip in my ultimate weight loss goals. I wanted to be half of my former weight. So at 230 pounds, someone who's only 5'1" tall, 115 pounds sounds doable, and it just sounds fun. But I'm not so much focused on my weight right now. I'm more focused on getting continuing to get my body fat percentage down, which is been happening slowly. Menopause is a beast, but not changing anything in the way I'm eating except being more protein focused now. Doing the boot camp exercises, the strength training, all of that. It's a slow grind. It's a really slow grind, Peter. But I still do have goals because I feel like I can still be stronger. And as I'm getting closer to 60, I want to be able to show up still energized. Like I don't want my aging to slow me down. So I'm not a fitness nut. I'm not like a gym rat or anything like that. But I believe that this is going to help me. It's just going to help me like be able to serve people. My heart's passion is to see other women set free, just like me. And so I want to show up every day so that I can set a good example. I can give them hope. I can, encourage their own story. Like, ladies, you can do this. You can do this. If I could do this, someone that wandered around in obesity for 30 years, you can do this as well.
Exactly. You've walked the walk. You're living proof, and they can look at you and think, my God, I wish I was like her. Mm-hmm. And you, of course, you can just say, well, you can be.
Yes. Yeah.
Stop dreaming and start acting.
Stop dreaming. Like, I'm not special. I do not take this health journey for granted at all. I'm sincerely blessed by this journey, but I'm not special in the fact like we all have to wake up every day and we all have to have choices to make. And so every morning I'm waking up and I am sitting in my quiet time, and I am getting ready to face the day and to make good choices and to be an example. And I want to be an example for my family too. I wish I could have a redo on raising my kids and feeding them better. But I'm just showing up every day for them. Like,
Mm.
look what mom's done. She's no longer Krabby Patty either, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So that those like I'm so blessed by this journey because I was able to leave my corporate job after 32 years. I was able to become a health and wellness coach and helping people every day. That's like it's a
Mm.
dream.
It is.
A dream that I
Understandable.
never knew I had, and now it's like a dream come true.
That's right. Can you imagine back then, 20 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago, somebody saying, in 10 years' time, you're going to be a health and wellness coach? You would have fallen off the couch laughing.
You're right, exactly. Because I left a career in accountancy, which is, I would sit in my private office with the door shut, and numbers didn't talk back to me. And now I get to talk to people all day, every day, and it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. Okay. So, with regard to your health and wellness coaching, is that always in person or is it sometimes online?
Yeah,
What's the
it's an online group coaching community. Yes, yeah,
great?
it's
So
like
people from anywhere in the world could contact you and get
absolutely.
on from there.
Yes, for sure. Made it, and obviously online. It's a blessing too. Like this technology that we have, it's amazing
Well, it
that we
is,
can.
and it means from your perspective, you can help a lot more people than you could ever help on a one-on-one physical basis because you can literally help lots of people.
Yes. And one thing that I have found in this journey of coaching is, when I first started, it was like, do I do one on one coaching? Do I do group coaching? The group coaching has been so successful and so instrumental in not only am I showing up as a coach, as someone who's been there, done that, but they're surrounded by a group of other women that
Mm.
we all relate. Like, I understand how you're feeling. I understand how this is a struggle. We've all been there. We've all done that. And we all want to do the right thing. So
Mm.
it's group coaching is super powerful, super impactful.
Mm. That's great, and I'm well impressed with the journey you've taken. To be honest, yeah, yeah.
I'm blessed for sure.
How can people contact you? I will put. Incidentally, before you answer that, I'll put your contact details in the show notes. But certainly, how could people contact you?
Yeah, I just redid and launched my brand new website so they can go directly to my website, ChristineTrimpe.com. So you'll see how to spell that underneath the show notes.
Yeah,
And I have a homepage there. I have an about page. You can learn more about my story, but I also have a page there dedicated to the weight loss coaching. And I also have a page there dedicated to my speaking. I love to speak. If you are looking for an inspirational or motivational speaker for your corporate event or health and wellness event or Christian women ministry event, I would love to connect with you. So yeah, just go to ChristineTrimpe.com.
there you go. Brilliant. Is there any else? Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I just want anybody listening today that maybe feels stuck in that, like I was stuck in those 30 years of trying all the things, trying like I thought this was in my best interest of my health, that there is hope for healing. It can be done. It can be accomplished. After 30 years, I never imagined in my wildest dreams that I would be able to live at a healthy weight and maintain it. Maintenance is key. But once you adopt a lifestyle of ditching the sugar, perhaps you want to go like real keto, low carb, very low carb, it becomes a lifestyle. And the
Mm.
lifestyle is so rewarding. And so
Yeah,
I just want to give you hope. Anybody that's listening that doesn't know what the next step is, first thing you could do is pick a sugar. Pick a sugar that you're going to eliminate from your lifestyle today.
yeah, that's right.
And let's connect. You can connect with me, connect with Peter. head on over to X, or better also known as Twitter, and find us there. We have really great conversations over on Twitter.
No, that's right. And there's certainly a whole bunch of people you can follow on the keto or carnivore space. A lot of the people I end up following at carnivore, they seem to be more vocal than the keto people.
Right. Right. I agree.
Yeah. And it's a way of, I guess it helps inspire people as well. Mm-hmm. So, yes, that would be great. So I'll post all of that information in the show notes. And I guess I'd like to wish you all the best in the future, Christine.
Same to you. Thanks for showing up and doing what you're doing to inspire people, providing these podcasts. I'll be really interested to listen to the guest advocating for the mental health healing. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, that was Donica, and she's in a meetup group. So meetup is a group. It's funny because I use Meetup to do walks in the weekend. Meetup is an international organisation, and you can just when you Google it, it'll come up with about half a dozen dating apps, of course, and you get past all of those, and you find the Meetup, which it's red writing, and there's a group for every occasion. So I'm with about half a dozen different hiking groups, and I can choose which hiking group I want to go in. It'll say it's going to be 7 miles or whatever the distance is. Yeah. I can look and see who else is on the group. Oh, there's 30 of us. Oh, that looks like a good, I can take my little dog with me.
Yeah.
And then I was doing something, and I saw that this lady had a meetup group for mental health. I thought, wow. So I contacted her, and we ended up having a chat on a podcast, which is great. So
that's
there you go.
Awesome. I do have one more inspirational thing to share. Remember when I was talking about I couldn't go up that mountain path, and you just mentioned hiking. I did return to Colorado, and I hiked up that path, and I've done a lot of extreme hikes since then. And the one thing I remember when I was finishing up writing my book, that my book Sugar Freed is going to release in October. As I was writing the last chapter, I remembered what my husband said to me when he came back down that trail that I couldn't climb. He came back down and he said, "You were so close." Like, I was so close getting to that lake that we were heading to. And that it just struck me so emotionally when I remembered that he had said that to me, because we are so close, so close to the healing. And I just want to give people hope. Like, you can do that. You can be like me. You can be so close. So let's just step out in faith and do it.
Yep. Excellent. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, all the best then, Christine. And like I said last week, I hate goodbyes. So, good luck with the future.
Thank you. I'll see you over on X.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Christine. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you, Christine. I hope everybody who is listening enjoyed that conversation. It is brilliant what Christine has managed to do with her life. Considering where she's come from, that is quite amazing. If you want more information about the ketogenic diet, then I have written a book about it. It's called See Your Toes Again. It's 200 pages long, and it's available on Amazon. I'd love for you to buy it and have a read. And, of course, if you have any comments about it, you're welcome to come and tell me. Although I say on the cover that it's designed for men, the book, it's designed for everybody. There's no discernible difference between being a bloke and a woman when it comes to carbohydrates as far as this book is concerned. So if you're not a man, then please don't be shy about buying it. It is designed for everybody, and I'd like to think it's a sort of book that everybody can get something out of. Also, if you'd like to get hold of Christine, I'll have written it in the show notes, but as she has mentioned, her address is christinetrimpe.com, CHRISTINE TRIMPE.com, and so you'll be able to get in contact with her from there. Anyhow, thank you very much. Enjoy yourself. Bye-bye.